Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Kraken Packs video. I am your host, Mr. Rivers, and today we're going to be opening up one of these event decks. I had a lot of comments about the last event deck I did, which is the one for Gatecrash. People really liked to look back at those kind of things, and since they didn't get to play with them themselves, it was interesting to see what was included. And so here we go, we're going to do the 2012 core set one. I have no idea what's in this. Again, I didn't play much during this time. And I haven't read up online of like what's in here and all that kind of stuff. So I have no idea what's in these boxes. Not a clue. But we'll find out together, right? So again, I think this kind of opens this way. Ooh, that's on there. Tight. There you go. So there you go. It's like a little. It's interesting. The front of it is kind of foiled almost. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's like, it's very shiny on the front and on the back. Anyway, the box itself is also very shiny and a cool looking box. Like, it's just a interesting, like, I think this would be cool to like carry, you know, a deck around in. Would be pretty sweet. And we got a die. So there you go, there's your M12 die. I don't think I actually have any M12 dice, and if I do, I have no idea where they are. So that's nice to add to the collection. We'll pull that out there. Put that box over there like so. And here, I'll turn it down this way so you guys can see it still. So you've got this, which I believe when we took a look at the other one, it's your deck list. So I'm not really going to go over the deck list to read it too much. But like, there you go. There's the deck list if you want to see it. Is everything that's available in here. We'll, of course, go through the cards as well, and then it says here's a little. It's kind of like the backstory and the tips and tricks of how to play the deck, and then the tips about your sideboard and how to use it properly. So, you know, it kind of like helps new players learn how to do stuff, which is pretty nice. And then you got the illusionist guy there. And then you got information about tournaments and events with tips to a successful event. And then you got some stuff here that talks about formats, and it just says here, you know, like if you're new, go get your DCI number kind of stuff. So just like good information for new players, which is what this was all about back when they released these. So that was cool. And then, of course, this is like your comprehensive guide of how to play, I think. Let me get this open. Jeez, it's so friggin' big. Ugh. Okay. Ugh. So this is like all about you gather how to play, gather your allies. It talks about the rarity levels. There's like, it gives you a little description of what each of the planeswalkers are: Sorin, Jace, Chandra, Garruk, and Gideon. It shows you the play, and like here's your life totals over here, and here's your opponent and you and the battlefield, your hand, that kind of stuff. Let's flip it over and take a look at the other side here. The other side has stuff here about getting started in your first game, and it just has the basic rules about combat steps, casting spells, turn order, that kind of stuff, card types, attacking and block. It's just all the basic rules of how to play Magic. So there you go. Pretty cool. Let me get this all folded back up. Most of you probably don't need to see this, and I know I don't need to see it, but there might be some new players out there who really enjoyed seeing these booklets. And, you know, the point of these sets and these tournament decks was to get new players involved. So giving them that information about how to play was key. It was key. So I think this is the deck. And here's our... Oh, that's actually a really nice looking divider. I really like that. It's too bad that it's this way. You know, it's too bad that it's landscape instead of portrait. Because like, it just... There's not many deck boxes that have a divider that goes this way. There are some, but not many. Most of them go top down. And you can't... this doesn't really help you, I don't think, in a top-down deck box. Let's see. Oh, it does. It still actually sort of works. I don't know if it'll fit because it's too wide. But if it does fit, it does stick out over top. See there, you can see. So that's kind of cool. If it is multi-purpose, that's awesome. If it's not, then oh well. So let's get right into the main deck. This is the main deck, obviously. I believe this is your sideboard, so we'll get into that afterwards. Let's see. These are now no longer mint. These are now near mint. Pack fresh. So you got 4 copies of Phantasmal Bear. Okay, you've got a copy of Phantasmal Image. I don't know if this guy still has a price tag on him, but he was reprinted in the latest Modern Masters, I want to say. So he fooled everyone with the Jace, right? Because Jace is 2 and it's blue, and people were like, oh my god, I got a Jace. But no, it was Phantasmal Image. Lord of the Unreal. This is your illusion guy, so it gives all your dudes hexproof, which is good for like things like this, because as you can see, if this guy becomes target of spell or ability, you sacrifice it. So, pretty cool, because he gives them hexproof. He also gives them +1/+1. Sweet. Sweet, so he's pretty decent. I don't know if he's got a price tag on him or anything like that. Porcelain Legionnaire, again, new Phyrexia in here with the Phyrexian mana costs. Phyrexian mana costs is a very popular thing. With Modern. So there you go. Spined Thopter. Ether Adept. Very good card as well. 4 copies of this as well, yeah. So it's like, you know, it's just a 2/2 that bounces the thing. Grand Architect. Ooh, 2 copies of Grand Architect. This guy is very good. I don't know if this guy has a hefty price tag or anything like that, but he's a very good card. He's a 1/3 for 3. Other blue creatures you control get +1/+1, and you can pay a blue, and target artifact creature becomes blue until end of turn. So it basically makes them blue, so that they get +1/+1. But not only that, it says his additional ability is tap an untapped blue creature you control and add 2 generic mana to your mana pool. I don't know if this has been errated to be too colorless. I assume it has, but I don't know. I'd have to look that up. But then it says spend this mana only to cast artifact spells or activate abilities of artifacts. So that's pretty cool. It's cool that they put 2 of him in the deck. Phantasmal Dragon, Preordain, and an upside down Preordain. Who doesn't like an upside down Preordain? Like, Preordain is a very good card as well. And they were in between the Phantasmal Dragons. I don't know what that was about. Precursor Golem, not great. This card was printed in Modern Masters 2017 as well, and it just is... I mean, it's an okay card for what it does, but it doesn't really see a lot of play or anything like that. Steel Hellkite, on the other hand, this is a phenomenal card. Very good. It was very good back in Scars of Mirrodin as well. It's a 5/5 for 6, flying. Pay 2 colorless or 2 generic. It has it's basically fire breathing, but for 2 generic instead of a red. But then you could pay X, and it says destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost X whose controller was dealt damage by Steel Hellkite this turn. Activate this ability only once per turn. That's pretty sweet. So you swing in for 5 in the air, and boom, boom, see you later, all of the guy's permanents. 2 more Preordains. So there you go, 4 copies of Preordain. Don't know why those Preordains were inserted in between the Phantasmal Dragons. It was probably just the way that the deck was put together. Who knows? Mana Leaks, also very good. Don't really have a lot of price on them, but they are a very good card. 4 copies of that as well. So 4 copies of Preordain, 4 copies of Mana Leak. This deck has got some very good playables in it. Mind Control, 2 copies of 3 copies of Mind Control. Okay, so enchant creature, you control it. 5 mana cost, it's just the basic, you know, control. Okay, so we've got Glacial Fortresses. I don't know, okay, just 1. So, but this is a very good card. Just, you know, your regular double-colored land. I don't know what you want to call it. People don't like calling them dual lands because they're not not the original dual lands, but they are a dual land because they make 2 things, but they're also not a dual land because this one's not considered 2 different types of land. It's just a land. It's not a plains and an island. It's just a land. But it makes 2 colors. So I don't know what you call these ones. These ones might have been called, like the Buddy lands, where it's like, yeah, it enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a plains or an island. So this might be like what they call the Buddy lands. I can't remember if that's what they called these ones. Again, been a long time. Glimmer Post, and an upside down Glimmer Post. 2 upside down cards in this pack. I don't know what the deal. So what was that? 4 Glimmer Posts. So Glimmer Posts are interesting for artifact decks and things like that. This one specifically is not the one I'm thinking of for artifacts, but there is another locust land that's really good for artifacts, and I can't remember the name of it right now. But Glimmer Post enters battlefield. You gain a life for each locust on the battlefield. So right now, like you would gain 1 for this. You'd gain 2 for this. You'd gain 3 for this. You'd gain 4 for that. So pretty cool. And then these are just your basic lands. It looks like just all islands. Yeah. And I think it's all M12 islands. Yeah, it's all M12 islands. The art on these islands is pretty cool. Like this one's pretty sweet, and so is that one. That one's also pretty awesome. This one's kind of eh. But yeah, some pretty sweet art from those M12 islands. I don't know if I have those in my collection, so I'll have to check. Let's take a look at the sideboard. Flash Freeze. 2 copies of Flash Freeze. Oops. Huh. Counter target red or green spell. So obviously you sideboard them against your red and green opponents. Negate. Good against heavy creature decks. Frost Breath for aggro. Nirok Commando. You may draw a card. Okay. So you play this against the decks that don't have, or do have removal, I guess, because your eyes have Shroud. You want to play this in decks that don't have board wipe, but have removal, I guess. Stoic Rebuttal, counter target spell, and it costs 1 less to cast if you control 3 or more artifacts. Master Thief, battlefield, gain control of target artifact. So you'd side this in when you're playing against other artifact decks, and then just a 4th copy of Mind Control for people who have big old derpy guys on the table. So there you go. There's 4 copies of Mind Control, 4 copies of Preordain, 4 copies of some other stuff. What was it? 4 copies of Phantasmal Bear, 4 copies of Porcelain Legionnaire, 4 copies of Spine Thopter, 4 copies of Ether Adept, Phantasmal Dragon had only 3 copies. I don't know if that was supposed to be 4. 4 copies of Mana Leak, 3 copies of Mind Control, 1 in the sideboard, 4 copies of Glimmer Post, and then a bunch of islands. So there you go. Pretty good, actually. The number of rares that you get in these little tournament kits is actually pretty high, which is pretty nice. So I guess this is like an event deck, and it comes with some pretty decent rares in it. And this is like a pretty good deck that you could probably just pick up and play, I would guess, especially back in 2012 when this was the core set and you didn't have any of the crazy nonsense that's going on right now with Eldrazi's and things and Standard and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, like, yeah, not a bad little thing. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Mr. Bevers. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, don't forget to check out my store, nerdvanastore.ca, if you have any single needs. If you don't see anything up there that you think I've opened or you've seen me open and it's not up on the store, just send me a message. Let me know that you're looking for it. And if I have a copy of it not up on the store, I will put it up there for you. Also, I have a Patreon where you can go and you can get grab bags, which are basically filled with a miscellaneous hodgepodge of things that I've opened here on the channel, as well as, you know, have a chance of winning a booster pack or a bundle, that kind of stuff. Yeah, and I have other things where you can sign up to have a bundle open or a booster box opened, and I will mail you whatever you want out of those things. So thanks so much for watching, everybody, and as always, may your pulls ever be better.